whakarato inga te matua tama wairi o tapu. Amen. E hono re he gloria mā ngā rongo ki te mata te whenua, e whakaaro pai ki ngā tangata katoa i roto te tūmanako, te whakapono te aroa, te me nui te aroa te tehi ki te tehi. Ngā mihi whānui ki a koe te matua kore, ko koe te rangatira mō tēnei ao, ko koe hangata rangi me te whenua, me ngā taonga o tāne ngā rongo te tangaro. E ngā mana, e ngā reo, ngā mihi ki a koutou, ka tā mai nei i roto te ao whānui, hara mai, hara mai, hara mai. Hara mai i roto i tēnei rohe o tainui e ki mania poto te iwi, uapoha, ua kaha te hapu, e mihi atu ki a koutou, nau mai, nau mai, nau mai, hara mai.
Kia ora, my name is Josephine Anderson. We're at a place that is very important to me and members of my family because this is where our grandmother is buried. When she died, she made it very clear to her sons that she was not to be taken anywhere else, but to be buried here on the land. Her wish was that the land would remain in the family and that, of course, that it would never be sold or passed on. It's left a big responsibility, but I'm glad to say that that sense of responsibility has remained with the family. It's more than just being a piece of dirt. It is something within us that attaches our souls to the land. It's a place that you call home, and it has very strong ties because of that fact, that you know that your ancestors walked upon the land, lived upon the land, worked upon the land, and eventually died and was buried on the land. This is my dad here. What more can you say other than that you have this real sense of belonging? Though it may be a responsibility that would be hard to uphold, I believe that we have members of our family that will do that and continue to uphold the wishes of our grandmother.
Kia ora, I'm Greg Martin. I'm the Waikato Conservator with the Department of Conservation, and we're here in a very, very special place in the Waikato Conservancy. This is a Wāhi Tapu site here in Waitomo. A Wāhi Tapu is a very special sacred place to local Māori people. Here it's especially sacred because this is a Māori burial ground, or an urapa, a cave where tupuna or elders from a bygone era have been buried in this location. It's quite significant from a Department of Conservation point of view because there are karaka trees here. Karaka trees normally don't grow in this location because they're a coastal species. And it's one of the great things about working in this place has been working with the local Māori people to understand their culture and heritage. And through that we've learnt that the karaka trees, which have a very fleshy fruit, were brought in here as a food source for their tupuna that were buried up there to maintain their spiritual being. The karaka trees are also believed to have been planted as access to the Wāhi Tapu, to the burial site, to enable the people to carry their remains up into that location for burial. Kokowai is a substance that was used on the entrance to the caves to give a marking, and that was made out of burnt limestone and shark oil rubbed on there to again give significance to these very special places. So working with the local people, sharing this information, their culture and their heritage, we've been able to learn a lot more about what it was like to live here in a bygone era.
My name is Uekaha, and this whare behind me is where I grew up. This is my papa kāinga, and this is where I spent the first 15 years of my life. well, you know, this is my home. These trees you see here, the whenua of my mokopuna or grandchildren. Whenua, of course, is the placenta. Traditional times, they would put the placenta in your turanga waiwai or your home area where you stand. So they feel like they have a spiritual home, they feel grounded. What I realize now, right now, is beautiful times. But as a kid growing up, I didn't actually look at it. And mainly because, well, look at the house. At the time, I thought we were so poor. You know, washing outside and wearing second-hand, hand-me-down clothes, no shoes. So I thought, well, there must be a better life than this. So I went to Christchurch, the bright lights, the bright city lights. And I went through quite a bit of change. Material changes, you know. Want a nice car, want a nice this and that, and one thing or the other. I went through a denial about who I was or how I was brought up. Yeah, there was a lot of changes. My waitomo was suppressed over this time. It was suppressed because I thought this other life was more enjoyable. But when I came to the realization that, gosh, I'm quite empty inside, that I realized that, hey, I need to get back to grassroots again. So to come back home, you know, this is where your turanga waiwai, your papakainga, this is where you get your sustenance, your true sustenance of who you are. It's back in your own papakainga. Lots of things happen in this bedroom, which is censored. Can't tell you. I no longer think it's an ugly house. I look at it as a beautiful house. It has a spiritual weight about it. A few years ago, I used to say, knock that house up and put another house, a papakainga. Well, there's no way I want to knock that house over. I wouldn't be the one who's lining up to knock it over. Because it does have that essence about it, and it's still there. For me, it's still there.
Hi, my name is Chris Templar, a local natural historian and amateur scientist. That's a keki, which is Dixonia squarosa, and that up there is Mahoi, which is named after Mahoika, the goddess of fire. This is known as korimiko, and it's also known as Hebe stricta, and it's the ultimate cure for dysentery and diarrhea. This is what the Māori people call kawakawa. It's also known as Macropiper excelsa. It's a natural antibiotic and general cure-all. One of the exciting things about Waitomo is it's right at the centre of a series of major ley lines. These are ancient energy lines which run across the land. Along these ley lines there are places where the power is concentrated, and where you get this concentration of power you get unexplained phenomenon occurring. And this is just one of these spots right here. I was just walking down the valley here, and it was dark, and I was following glowworms. My torch turned off to try and conserve the batteries, and I was following glowworms down the creek bed, and I stopped for some reason. Something caught my attention, something out there in the dark, just like little footsteps on the dry leaves, just something coming down. And I stopped and listened and thought, that's odd. It's not like anything I've ever heard before. And then there was another one over here, and then another one over there, another one back here, and within a very short time there must have been 7 or 8 of them all coming in from different directions. And it was just quite unlike anything I've ever experienced. And I just fled into the forest and didn't stop running till I reached the car park down there. It just frightened the life out of me. And the next day I went to see Walter, who is an old kaumatu, and I knew if anyone would understand, he would. And I told him what happened, and he just looked at me and smiled gently and said, Patuparihi boy, which means the fairy people. In Hawaii, they call them the Menehune, and possibly in Ireland, they're what they call leprechauns. There are little people in many, many parts of the world. I mean, most of them are regarded as myth and legend, but these things actually do exist. They exist on another dimension.
Hi, my name's Ben Stubbs, and this is my father Alistair, and my partner Bex, and this is my family, and this is the Stubbs farm.
Well, I've been on the farm for all my life. I shouldn't really tell you what my age is. My grandfather and father came up from the South Island in around about 1914. That means we've been here for a long time. We've been here ever since.
And for me, our piece of land up here is it's like a treasure, really. It keeps on evolving, and we keep on finding things that are unusual or never seen before for us. We've got very strong connections with the land, obviously. The land's been really what sustained our family, and we've stuck around generation after generation from my great-grandfather's time. To have the kids up here and growing up on a farm like this, they're experiencing some of those special moments on a regular basis on the farm. They get to do extraordinary things, which I always considered to be normal. You can see all this bush, pretty much all the bush that you can see has been retired for the best part of 30 years now, I think. We've retired it to help maintain the quality of water that goes down and drains down through the rock here and heads on down the valley to Waitomo. That's part of our aim here. Looking down here, there's a big tomo, which is a depression in the ground that goes down to the water system down below. You can see how the cave is formed, and then the roof has actually collapsed down, which has formed like a canyon coming down here. You can see the obvious link between the forest on top of the rock here, and where the rock is here, and how the water and the forest link to the cave systems below. I think that you could never underestimate the depth of knowledge that's gained by working a piece of land for generations. I listen to this man here a lot with our farming practice and with the work that we do with conservation as well. We talk about family. For me, being here, it's part of our family, this land. It's a continuum.
Hopefully it'll carry on like this for many generations.
Yeah, no, it will. Yeah.
It's almost like we've all been called here for something. We don't quite know what, but we're all coming here. There's something special here. Waitomo is a very special place.
We just found our real home, I guess, by coming here, and there was no reason to move again.
In terms of the Wairua, the spirit, it's here, right here. This is my essence, right here.
This is home to me. It's a place where I've lived, and it's a place where I would like to have my final resting place.